Welcome to part 5 of Movement for the Immune System. We're talking, if you haven't seen the first 4, about how you can use movement to support your immune system and the essential role that it plays in supporting your immune system. And these are all gentle, easy exercises you can work into any aspect of your day pretty much. Go back and watch the first 4 if you haven't already, but just a quick recap. Lymphatic system needs muscle contractions to drain, and it is sort of the waste system, so we want it to be able to remove waste, and in order to do that, we need muscle movement. So we've already talked about some key kind of large clusters of lymph nodes around the neck area, armpit area, groin area, and how to get some movement there. Also talked about walking and how that's a great kind of whole body gentle movement. And today we're going to talk about micro movements. So smaller movements that you can do some that reach other areas we haven't talked about, and some that are just great if you are either sick already and not in a position to really move a lot or exercise, or if you are just not capable of the movements and exercises that we've been talking about so far. I know they're not accessible to everybody, so hopefully some of the stuff we mentioned today, if you are in that position, these will be accessible to you. And they're also great for anyone else as well, on top of all the things we've done so far. If you are able to do all of the things. So I'm going to start with talking about breathing, dynamic breathing. Often we get into a pattern of either shallow chest breathing, where it's just like this kind of up and down of the chest, or if we are maybe in like a yoga class or a breathwork relaxation class, we might do belly breathing, which is when you kind of like release your belly and breathe into your stomach. And that has its benefits and purposes in specific contexts, but oftentimes we overlook what can perhaps be one of the most beneficial ways to breathe, which it seems silly to say it in that context because we're breathing all the time, and you don't really need to think about breathing all the time. But in those situations where you are consciously thinking about it, you can practice breathing into your rib cage. So breathing kind of in a full 360 use of your rib cage, which will help strengthen and keep the intercostal muscles, which are between your ribs, keep those supple and pliable and also strong. And it just occurred to me, I hadn't thought about this before, but I know one of the main symptoms of COVID-19 is respiratory illness. So it just occurred to me now that like the ability to fully use our rib cage to assist our breathing is something that often gets overlooked, I think, until we're in situations where it becomes a little bit more difficult to breathe and we don't realize so much that there is muscle action involved with that we can actually exercise. We can exercise those muscles so that they are more capable of fully lifting the ribs out and also of compressing the ribs down. Some people have difficulty not with inhaling, but with exhaling fully, depending on different conditions with breathing in the lungs. So both of those motions are really helpful and crucial, really. And the way we can start to consciously exercise those muscles is by consciously breathing into our rib cage. And you can also try this. I don't think I have, well, let me grab this strap. You can do it with a strap or with, if you have a resistance band or a pair of nylons, if you tie those around your rib cage, kind of right around where your bra line would be, kind of mid ribs, you can use that. You don't want it to be super tight, just like snug enough that you can kind of feel it, and that when you breathe in, it creates just the tiniest bit of resistance. And that can kind of help give you something to resist against, which will strengthen the muscles a little bit with that resistance, but also give you a little bit of proprioception, so your sense of where your body is in space. It can kind of give you a little feedback that you can, if you're having trouble being like, what are my ribs doing? Having something around can help. So you can do something like so, and then breathe in, and it will also show you, let me see, I'm going to exhale my lungs. Wait, is that? Yeah, this is what I do. So it will kind of give me an idea as I inhale. You'll notice that my hands get closer together, so that also kind of gives me an idea of if my ribs are really moving. If you inhale as far as you can and that doesn't change at all, that might just be a clue that things are a little stuck in that area, or that you might need some other kind of innervating to get the proprioception to be able to really feel into that space. So just try that a few times. Deeply breathing, thinking about breathing into the sides and the back, not just the front. Checking in with kind of what's happening in your shoulders and ribs, and that they're down and relaxed. Nothing needs to rise up here. It's all happening here. And your belly might expand also, but you're not just like dumping the air all the way down. Like, it's a different sensation. You can try all the three ways. And what we're practicing today is moving the muscles in here. And that also will move some lesser activated muscles around lymph nodes in those areas. And then, let's see, what are the other ones I wanted to cover? So breathing has a smaller movement that we don't often think about. Self-massage, so if you just want to kind of gently palpate those areas. I think I mentioned this in part 1, but if you want to massage around your face area, just make sure you wash your hands first. But you can do kind of these areas under the collarbone are nice. You can do a little bit of a head stretch at the same time. This can be really great for draining those areas. And you can do that anywhere on your body. You can kind of do these tiny. So that's one that if you're lying in bed, you can even just like massage a little bit, just like a little massage. And the other one is just muscle contraction. So just even if you're lying in bed, sorry, Charlie, you can just consciously move parts of your body. Like this is a great one to do while you're lying in bed, just flexing and pointing your feet. But you can also just tense your muscles. I don't know if you can really see, I'm tensing the muscles in my legs. Tense them for a few seconds and then release them all the way. And you can do that all the way up and down your body. You can probably find guided meditations. I believe Yoga Nidra is a technique that involves that kind of conscious relaxing. I don't know if it always involves tensing then relaxing. I'm not an expert in that area or a yoga teacher. But I do remember listening to some in the past, like sleep meditations where you kind of tense one area at a time and work through your whole body. So if you want to have someone guide you through it in a relaxing manner, I really like Insight Timer app. That's a great resource for guided meditations, free guided meditations, excuse me. Or you can just choose your own adventure, and if you're lying in bed, just relaxing, and you can do everything from your face muscles, relaxing, tensing, relaxing, to your shoulders and arms, tensing and relaxing. You'd spend probably a little bit longer tensing, so maybe like 5 or 10 seconds, and then relaxing, and your quads, and your calves, and your feet. So even those small movements are movement. Lots of times we just think of movement as exercise, and we think of exercise as these larger activities. But even just tensing and releasing your muscles you're contracting your muscles, and that contraction is going to help circulate your blood and also your lymph. So those are the micro movements. If you think of any other kind of fun or interesting micro movements that you want to share, please do put them in the comments. For anyone who's looking for some very gentle, simple ways to get movement. And tomorrow, let me see what we're gonna. I keep saying at the end of these tomorrow, but I'm not sure if they'll actually be released a day apart. So next time, in part 6, let's see. Oh, part 6, we're going to be talking about a very special kind of movement, the bowel movement. So stay tuned for that one. If you haven't already seen the first kind of half of this series, you can go back and watch those on Instagram or Facebook. And please feel free to leave any questions or comments. And what else, Charlie? Subscribe or follow to make sure you don't miss any of the rest of them. That's what else. Okay, bye. Oh, you're stuck. Bye.